Well, I had a phone call and got interrupted, and yeah, trying to get back into it now. So I feel like my train of thought was on holding multiple perspectives, and yeah, how do we do that sometimes? And it's all about knowing that we do have limitations, you know, and that we are having our own experience, and that we are in our own bubble, and sometimes we are very compartmentalized, and we don't know how to connect, like, the inner to the outer, or ourselves to the whole, to the outward whole, or the whole to our inner whole. And so we feel like we have a big hole, you know? And so a big gaping hole rather than wholeness, you know? But like, that's just the illusion, really, and that's, yeah, that's a fool too. And so, yeah, what I've been working with and all of that, allowing their experience, their story, their perceptions, their choices, their own stuff, their limitations, their strengths, their gifts, and their lessons, the lessons that they're, you know, on their path to learn, and then the lessons that we share together, and all of that. So just in my own inner work, in my own world, in my own experience through my relationships, because we don't exist unto ourselves. Everything exists in and through its relationship with everything else. And so, yeah, we're not separate. Like, we couldn't exist unto ourselves, just unto ourselves, without, yeah, everything else. And everything else couldn't exist unto itself without us, without all of ourselves. And so it's just kind of funny to think that there's one right way, or there's one best way, or there's one correct way, because there's not. There's all ways. And it's dishonoring of the whole, and it's dishonoring of all if we don't allow, like, all of us to have our own ways, to have all of our own ways. And so, is there a way to bridge, like, this gap, you know, that we have created? Or, yeah, maybe this bridge that we burned, you know? And maybe we can rebuild that bridge. So, I have here The Sacred Art of Listening by Kay Lindahl, 40 Reflections for Cultivating a Spiritual Practice. And there was a bookmark that I had in it, and I just opened it earlier today, and it seemed like it was a good one to offer today. So, chapter 9, Common Values, Listening for Connection. I was going to read you a little bit. Interfaith gatherings have taught me to respect the diverse ways we express our relationship to Source, and have given me a sense of awe and wonder in the presence of how much we all have in common. In our various religious and spiritual traditions, we tend to talk in similar ways. I think this is Bahai, B-A-H-A-I. Lay not on any soul a load that you would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. Buddhism. Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Christianity. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Confucianism. Do not do unto others what you do not want others to do unto you. Hinduism. Do not to others that which, if done to you, would cause you pain. Islam. None of you truly have the faith if you do not desire for your brother that which you desire for yourself. Jainism. In happiness and suffering, and joy and grief, we should regard all creatures as we regard our own self. Judaism. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. This is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Native American. Respect for all life is the foundation. Respect for all life is the foundation. Sikhism. Don't create enmity with anyone, as God is within everyone. Wicca, if it harm none, do what you will. Zoroastrianism, do not do unto others all that which is not well for oneself. So in any conversation, what the speakers have in common is more powerful than what divides them. Sometimes this reality is hard to see, as so much energy and emotion can swirl around what separates us. Imagine a world where everyone lived by these principles from the world's religious traditions. What would it take? Faith, love, and trust? They are all essential in creating relationships. Can I become a friend with someone not like me? Can I listen intently enough to find the center that unites us? Let's listen for what connects us while appreciating that which differentiates us. This is practicing the sacred art. Take this attitude of oneness with you into the world, give blessings, share joy, live in gratitude. So, this is just a little mandala art. For this one, give blessings, share joy, live in gratitude. Find the connection, common values. So we do have a lot in common, and we can relate in a lot of ways, and we all really do, like, basically want the same things. Belonging and safety and a place to be, you know, a place to discover, a place to be free, to be our true selves, so that we can grow and we can thrive and we can feel well and we can express that joy and that gratitude and embody that life and that livelihood and this gift of life we've been given to live and to give and to share and to weave. You know? So, how would that be? To be free. So, another thing I want to share that relates to something that I saw last week, and it's called Looking In for Number One, Adventures in Uncommon Sense by Alan Cohen. And let's read you a little bit of this. So, what we call reality is but one tiny aspect of the big picture. If we can open our minds to peer through another lens, we can discover ways of living that can enhance our own. I have learned a great deal by traveling throughout the world and meeting people of many different cultures. In Bali, I learned that happiness does not depend on having material goods. Joy is an inside job. In Russia, I discovered that the human spirit cannot be dampened by political oppression. In Mexico, I saw how life revolves around families who love and care about one another above all else. In Greece, I discovered that passion can be a way of life, and on and on. So we can learn something valuable from every culture and it from us. Like the 5 blind men groping to define an elephant, we each have a piece of reality that makes sense only when we contribute our perspective and are open to accept other perspectives as well. Ram Dass tells of a time when during his drug experimentation days, he found himself backstage at a Newport Jazz Festival. While under the influence of a hallucinogen, he saw a peephole in the back of the tent, and just for fun, he looked out of it. To his surprise, he saw another eye looking back at him. The 2 eyes stared into each other for a long time, quite fascinated with each other. Finally, Ram Dass heard a voice from the other side of the tent, obviously associated with the mysterious eye. The voice asked, "Want to get in?" The cosmic joke is that Ram Dass thought he was on the inside. Meanwhile, so did the other fellow, who was truly on the inside. Both of them, each was on the inside of his own reality, as we all are. Well, that's pretty freaking hilarious. What seems quite sophisticated to us may be primitive to others, and that which we judge to be Neanderthal may offer more value than we recognize. Wisdom has a way of showing up in the strangest places. Want to get in? So these questions are for reflection. 1, have you ever experienced a shift in consciousness that showed you that there was more to reality than the reality you had known? And what did you learn? 2, explain in your own words the meaning of the question, would you rather be right or happy? And I usually ask myself, would you rather be right or free? Yeah, so I'd rather be free. What do you believe Indigenous people have to offer the modern world? Yeah, what are those Indigenous people's that have practiced, you know, these amazing, beautiful traditions that hold such wisdom and connection and like records for humanity, you know. And yeah, there's a lot of beautiful wisdom that we can appreciate and we can honor and we can cultivate in our lives and within ourselves too, if we're open to that. So I thought those were pretty cool because they go along. I mean, it's all related. Come on. There are no accidents. So, transmuting the poison and transformation and integration. And yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of venom lately, which is kind of funny as well, because yeah, the venom, the poison, the antidote, and the remedy, it's all part of the same thing. We create the antidote with the poison. We don't just reject the poison as having no value. We actually use it. We can use it and transmute to heal. And so let's do that. Let's choose that. Let's call on our resources. Let's use all our resources. Yeah. And so like the venom, just for shits and giggles today, I was just flipping through this, my Cave Canem. It's like a book of Latin phrases. And I found this and I was like, whoa. So, it's spelled V-E-N-E-N-U-M, but it's pronounced Venenum. Venenum. So it's a drink of the goddess Venus. Originating from the name of the Roman goddess of love, Venus, this word has several meanings ranging from love, potions, and charms to remedies and poisons. It comes into English as the word venom. In ancient Rome, as in other cities to the time, there were purveyors of drugs to cure, to coax, and to kill, and there are many references to people hawking, buying, and using drugs. Martial, renowned for his crude and sexually explicit epigrams, commented that a man who can't get it up has tried all manner of bulbic salices, warts and bulbs, to solve his problem. A wide variety of plants, ointments, and potions were imported to Rome from Egypt, Spain, and other regions to satisfy the public's desire for pleasure. These would be stored in the apothecae or the storerooms and sold in certain quarters of the city. So yeah, Venenum, a drink of the goddess Venus. Love, potions, charms, remedies, and poisons. And so it could be all those things. To cure, to coax, and to kill. Yeah. So that's interesting too. Like, it's all in the way of that directed intent and that directed energy too. And sometimes we're unconscious of how that energy is directed or how it's projected. Yeah, all of that. And snake medicine. Snake medicine is a totem I wanted to bring up too, because she's at play right now. Number 6. Snake medicine. Be ye as wise as serpents and as gentle as doves. Snake, come crawling, there's fire in your eyes. Bite me, excite me, I'll learn to realize. The poison transmuted brings eternal flame. Open me to heaven to heal me again. Snake transmutation. Snake medicine people are very rare. Their initiation involves experiencing and living through multiple snake bites, which allows them to transmute all poisons, be they mental, physical, spiritual, or emotional. The power of snake medicine is the power of creation, for it embodies sexuality, psychic energy, alchemy, reproduction, and ascension for immortality. The transmutation of the life-death rebirth cycle is exemplified by the shedding of snake skin. It is energy of wholeness, cosmic consciousness, and the ability to experience anything willingly and without resistance. It is the knowledge that all things are equal in creation, and that those things which might be experienced as poison can be eaten, ingested, integrated, and transmuted if one has the proper state of mind. Thoth, the Atlantean, who later returned as Hermes and was the father of alchemy, used the symbology of two snakes intertwining around a sword to represent healing. Complete understanding and acceptance of the male and female within each organism creates a melding of the two into one, thereby producing divine energy. This medicine teaches you on a personal level that you are a universal being. Through accepting all aspects of your life, you can bring about the transmutation of the fire medicine. This fire energy, when functioning on the material plane, creates passion, desire, procreation, and physical vitality. On the emotional plane, it becomes ambition, creation, resolution, and dreams. On the mental plane, it becomes intellect, power, charisma, and leadership. When this snake energy reaches the spiritual plane, it becomes wisdom, understanding, wholeness, and connection to the Great Spirit. If you have chosen this symbol, there is a need within you to transmute some thought, action, or desire so that wholeness may be achieved. This is heavy magic, but remember, magic is more than a change in consciousness. Become the magician or the enchantress. Transmute the energy to accept the power of the fire. Wow. And then contrary snake. If you have drawn this symbol in the reverse, you may have chosen to mask your ability to change. Look at the idea that you may fear changing your present state of affairs because this may entail a short passage into discomfort. Does this discomfort keep you from assuming a viewpoint of the magician within? Is the old pattern safe, reliable, and a rut? In order to glide beyond that place which has become safe but non-productive, become snake. Release the outer skin of your present identity. Move through the dreamlike illusion that has insisted on static continuity and find a new rhythm as your body glides across the sands of consciousness, like a river winding its way toward the great waters of the sea. Immerse yourself in that water and know that the single droplet which you represent is being accepted by the whole. Feel snake's rhythm and you will dance freely, incorporating those transmuting forces of the universe as a part of your sensual dance of power. Feel the rhythm and you will dance freely, incorporating those transmuting forces of the universe as part of your sensual dance of power. Like that. Snake medicine. I think it's always good too to like look at corresponding animals too, and yeah, to kind of look at the predator-prey dynamic as well. Sometimes, like, it's good to look at mice. Yeah, because that kind of corresponds to snake, you know. Snake will eat, you know, mice will be like one of those main animals of prey that snake will feed on. And then, interestingly enough, snake can also be prey and not just a predator. And so, yeah, snake makes me think of owl too, or owl, like the great owl. And so the great owl is 21, and that's about deception. Owl. And it's about sight and about inner sight, insights, higher sight, vision. Owl medicine is symbolically associated with clairvoyance, astral projection, and magic, both black and white. Owl is called night eagle on several medicine wheels used by Amerindian teachers. Traditionally, owl sits in the east, the place of illumination. Since time immemorial, humanity has been afraid of the night, the dark, and the unseen, waiting fearfully for the first crack of morning light. Conversely, night is owl's friend. Owl hunts its prey at night. Not only can owl see in the dark, it can also accurately pinpoint and identify any sound. This gives it a great advantage when seeking food. Owls are night hunters. Some native people are fearful of owl and call its feathers deceiver feathers. An owl feather is silent. You cannot hear owl when it flies, but its prey definitely knows when it strikes, for its beak and talons are razor sharp. Owl is oftentimes the medicine of sorcerers and witches. If owl is your medicine, you will be drawn to magical practices and perhaps explore the dark arts. You should resist any temptation to practice black magic or any art that takes away energy from another person or being. If you have owl medicine, these night birds will have a tendency to collect around you even in the daytime because they recognize a kinship with you. Is it any wonder that in many cultures, owl is a symbol for wisdom? This is because owl can see that which others cannot, which is the essence of true wisdom. Where others are deceived, owl sees and knows what is there. Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, had a companion owl on her shoulder which revealed unseen truths to her. Owl had the ability to light up Athena's blind side, enabling her to speak the whole truth as opposed to only half a truth. If Owl is your personal medicine, no one can deceive you about what they are doing, no matter how they try to disguise or hide it from you. You may be a little frightening to be around, since so many people have ulterior motives which you see right through. If you are unaware of your medicine power, you may take your keen insights and abilities for granted. I can relate to that. Others never do. You may frighten them and reflect their blindness, for you cannot be fooled. Owl medicine people know more about an individual's inner life than that person knows about herself or himself. If you have pulled the owl card, you are being asked to use your powers of keen, silent observation to intuit some life situation. Owl is befriending you and aiding you in seeing the total truth. Owl can bring you messages in the night through dreams or meditation. Pay attention to the signals and omens. The truth always brings further enlightenment. If you have Owl upside down in your cards, you have been greatly deceived by either yourself or another. Perhaps witchcraft or black magic is being used against you, or maybe you are using witchcraft or sorcery to aid you when you should be praying and asking the Great Spirit for guidance. The message is to befriend the darkness inside yourself. Look deeply, and soon the bright light of dawn will illuminate you. Then ask yourself what you are in the dark about. How and by whom are you being deceived? Have you lied to yourself about someone or something? Are you being greatly deceived or just slightly deceived? Owl tells you to keep an eye on your property and your loved ones. Remember that Owl is always asking who. So, Owl, deception and wisdom and truth. And I'll just leave it at that, because that was powerful. So, yes, that goes along perfectly with what I wanted to share. It was another realization of things that I had this week about like my inner conflicts that I've been having. And one of those realizations was I took my own abilities to see things and to see into things and to hold wider perspectives. I took that ability for granted because I never really thought of myself as special or as gifted or anything. So it's kind of funny. I've always taken for granted what I've been able to see and who I've been able to be and all of that. And yeah, seeing myself as not special is actually a form of self-importance because it separates me from everyone else. And like in a certain way, I know we're all special and we all have our special gifts and we all have our special abilities that we get to realize, discover, cultivate, and appreciate and nurture and like honor and all of that, claim. And so I realized that like my form of self-importance like is a form of self-impotence, really. And it wasn't like really appreciating or honoring my own abilities to see into things and to see through things and all of that. And so I realized too, like, I felt like, you know what, if I can see this and it's so obvious to me and it's just, yeah, why can't other people see it? Like, if I get it, and it was like, because I was so hard on myself, hey, if I can get this, anyone can get it, you know, kind of a thing. Like, so it was like my expectations for other people to be able to see what I could see and all of that. And so it was like, it was really like kind of not appreciating like my own viewpoints and my own ways of being, my own ways of seeing, and how I've developed that, and how I've been helped and assisted with that, like through like practice and through faith and through structuring and honoring my integrity and my impeccability and giving myself props and kudos about like the work that I've done and what I've actually built, you know, in me, within me. And I've had so much help, of course. Like every single relationship has been a teacher and like, you know, a mirror for me to like, so I could understand me, because that's really what it was all about. So I wanted to know me Oh, know thyself, be thyself, love thyself, free thyself. Yeah. Own thyself, love thyself, be thyself, know thyself, free thyself, honor thyself. Yeah, love thyself. And knowing like who I really am. Not just this person that's called Jen. You know, I'm so much more than that. And we're so much more than that. You know. But this is just the container that I get to play in while I'm here on this earth and on this playground, in this school, on this stage, you know. And I don't want to limit, you know, limit or put constraints on or rigidities on who I am, like really. But I know who I am at my core, you know, and that's love. And that's playfulness, and it's joy, you know. And it's never separate from God, never separate from my mother, from her, from a great goddess, and not separate from anyone else, not separate from my love, from all of the love that I love. So, appreciating our own abilities and what we have to work with, that's part of our resources, claiming and calling and honoring those resources. So I just wanted to share that too. Like, it's kind of interesting. And I realized I have had my own experience, like a very, 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 very unique experience to myself. And I realized how unique, you know, all of our experiences are. But yeah, I was just kind of having trouble understanding why people couldn't see into different structures or couldn't see different sabotage and going on, and aren't willing to look at different corruption or ulterior motives and all of that, like unable to or unwilling to or any of that, like, and that's okay, because it sometimes happens in different layers, and you know, and sometimes we open to it, and maybe we'll always choose to be blind to it, and that's okay too. And there's lessons and there's gifts for everyone, wherever they are, however they are, just as they are, wherever they are, as they are. And so, like, just knowing that, that's right too. And yeah, that's helping me to allow what is, and to allow others to be where they are, and to be where they're at, and to know that they're right as they are for themselves, and for me too, like, to help me, like, understand and be more at peace with me and within me, so that I can be at peace with we, and understand and have allowance and compassion and honor the other where they're at, even though they're not where I'm at. But that's okay. It doesn't mean that I'm in a better place or anything. That's just silly to compare, you know, because we all have our different ways and our different paths and our different parts to play. So there is no, like, better or lesser than part. It's all part of the whole, and it's all essential, and it's all needed, and it's all valued, and it's all valid. And yeah, we just get to integrate and harmonize and include all those parts. And so just working on that for a full heart, for a full, whole, healed heart. So yeah. And hopefully we can allow that for ourselves and for each other, and maybe listen a little bit more for the experience and the common values that we do have and that we do share, and the common experiences that we do have and that we can relate to and with, you know, and through. So through the relationship, through our relationships. And our relationship is with, yeah, with the all one, and with the many all and none. So yeah, and it's all unique to us, and yeah, it's kind of funny just how it is, just how it gets to be. And so yeah, I want to share some stories next time, some personal stories, so that, yeah, just to offer them, and maybe it'll just give a little bit of insight for others that care about me and care about this work and care about alchemy and care about our well-being as an individual and a collective, as a part and a whole, as a part in the, as a whole part in the whole. Yeah, as a whole being within the whole being. As one being within the one. And one that contains all. So that's the Fu. And that's, the Fu holds it all. And it's nothing. So transformation, transmutation, transformation. Yeah, transubstantiation. All those things. Gives me a lot to think about and contemplate and play with. So, yeah, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again soon. Be well and take good care of you. Be love for yourself and love your whole self. Be all the love you need for yourself. Okay, be well.